is it. So, hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome out to Modular Components. It's the end of the week, and I am the Vacuuminator here to hang out and chat with you and my buddies Blue. I got the Blue Boingo Rider here.
Hi. You're probably referencing something that they can't see.
Yeah,
Because
but they'll
blue's
see it.
never really been a color associated with my brand.
It's in one of the bars of that logo you have.
Bar.
And I'm here with the Blue Buster. What's up, Buster?
Hi, I will not leave halfway through this time because I have time now.
Sick.
I probably will bounce for a little bit. Not because I'm going to leave the podcast entirely, but because I may be called to do something, and I might have to poop.
Same.
Understandable. Have a nice evening.
Yeah.
Take
my shit and leave.
He just goes, I'm done. I'm fucking done with Modular. No more.
Just halfway through the podcast, just like a mic drop.
Like, we get into an argument about fucking, I don't know, Ghostbusters or some shit.
Ghostbusters, it's always breaking people apart.
But lads, I am in a fantastic mood this evening because I just completed a gauntlet, an actual fucking gauntlet of video production this weekend, where I shot, edited, exported, and uploaded 4 separate videos that are going to be coming out within the week that will have just finished when people are listening to this, all in the space of 3 days. I shot everything Friday. I edited about half of it yesterday, and then today, which is Sunday, I put the finishing touches on one of the videos, spent like 4 hours exporting it, and then I made the last video, and now everything is good to go. Because, yeah, funny story. The same week I had scheduled myself to finally relaunch my Patreon ended up being the same week that my new day job said, hey, you can start this Monday. So I went from okay, this is going to be kind of a busier week than normal, but I can get it all done within the 4 days I have to edit and upload everything. It's not a big deal to, oh shit, fuck, I need to do everything now, and I can't think about anything else this weekend. But I got through it with an hour to spare, and I'm feeling pretty fucking accomplished, and now I'm ready to relax and chat about whatever you lads want to chat about. You know, I got a nice beer in my hand. I've been chewing on a sticky bun. It's fucking paradise up in here right now.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of Paradise, actually, that's nothing to do with Paradise. Maybe it does, depending. I don't know, it's a Power Rangers thing, but it's not because, hey, it's not Twit related. It's not a toku, so I can talk about it. But it's also a comic, so should I save this for No Prize? I'll talk about it here since I'm not always on No Prize.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Boom Studios Power Rangers comics. I read all the Mighty Morphin, Go-Go. And yeah, I have not started the newer ones, just Power Rangers and Mighty Morphin. I have not.
You read Phase 1.
Phase 1, basically, of from 2015 to 2018, 19. I think 2019 sounds good. 2020. So the first 5 years.
I was kind of following along with that on Twitter, but not keeping super up to date. It was interesting to get your reactions after we've been so hesitant to say anything about those comics on Twitter.
Yeah, I will. Okay, to be fair, I kind of I already read Beyond the Grid a while. I just started from issue 40 of my MMPR since I read the Shattered Grid a while ago up to Shattered Grid. But I still refreshed myself with video recaps and stuff. And overall, I'm feeling pretty good. I still think these comics have a lot they can improve on. A lot they can improve on. We'll talk about them throughout the course of the discussion. But overall, I like these comics. They're pretty sick.
I am being hailed. I'll be right back.
All right, goodbye, Boingo. Goodbye forever.
Dang. All right, so we're talking Twit podcast now.
All right, welcome to the Twit Comic Cast, everybody.
Yeah. Twit no Twit. I don't know, whatever. But let's just get to the conversation. So yeah, I'll talk about guess I'll go like in order from MMPR, then I'll talk Go-Go, because Go-Go is kind of like its own one story.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, MMPR has like
Except
arcs.
for the Shattered Grid tie-in, which is
Even
not
then,
it's
even
not
then
a
I can
huge tie-in, but it does affect later stuff with that universe after Shattered Grid.
Yeah, even so, like I like it's like even so, like the tie-in issues they are. I feel like they like I don't know they're okay. I feel like you could easily still understand and like you follow along as long as you know. Oh wait, there was an event happening at the time of this. Although I
Yeah.
don't think those issues are included in the trade paperbacks, but that's a whole other story.
Hmm.
Like
Well, before you move on, I do want to go ahead and clarify for the listeners. I've read up to the start of Necessary Evil. And I don't care about spoilers, Buster.
Okay,
But
I was just about to say because I've read
I don't care. I don't care about spoilers because in the last couple weeks for no prize, I just decided fuck catching up. I'm just gonna jump into wherever the hell the comics are at now. So I've read the last two issues that have come out, which were the issue of Power Rangers Unlimited with the Phantom Ranger, and then the latest issue of Mighty Morphin, which is number 9. And I like praised the shit out of that issue on No Prize because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about that had happened since I stopped reading in that issue, but it does a good job of like cluing you in with context clues, but not holding your hand and talking down to you.
Yeah.
I feel like I was fully caught up to the status quo just by reading Mighty Morphin number 9, which was
Yeah,
pretty
I've not
dang
read
cool.
Power Rangers or Mighty Morphin yet, so I've just read the again, it was phase 1 of the comics. So yeah, I thought the first well, we'll start with like kind of like the first we'll generalize it to the first 17 issues from from the start to when Billy and Tommy like meet Lord Draken and escape him. Those were okay. Those the kind of I feel like early MMPR, especially early MMPR Boom, is very fan servicey. Like where it's like, oh, you want to see you fans want to see like all the Rangers be green? You want to see them fight like a mecha Digimon? You want to see an evil Tommy?
Who was the
Like
writer on that again? What's his name?
Kyle Higgins.
Yeah, it really like Kyle Higgins, while he was writing that stuff, was very upfront with the fans and said, this was an assignment for me. I didn't know a lot about Power Rangers beforehand, but he was like watching the show through as he wrote the first few issues of his run. And he was very much keyed in through fan service. I mean, through fan input. Like he like looked at what the majority of what fans were posting, and his reaction was, oh, there's a lot of people that really love the Green Ranger. I guess I need to key into that character, kind of study him and center my run around him. And that really is apparent.
Yeah, I will say, Draken starts. Keyword starts. We'll get to the end of MMPR when that happens soon. He starts off very interesting. I will say that. That's probably the only time I'm gonna say that about Tommy. Actually, no, I really like Dino Thunder Tommy. But like he starts off as like I mentioned this in this review I'm writing. I'm making a video on this. Where he's like Draken is basically his conception to me, at least to me, is a meta commentary on on Tommy like overexposure and Power Rangers. At least to me.
See that, yeah.
Like where it's like all the other Rangers, they're kind of like, scrounging for survival while Tommy's like the king. He's always getting praised. And I even think, like, to skip ahead a bit, I even think this ties into the ending of Shattered Grid where Draken plays make-believe in a fantasy world where that's like the darkest scenario for Power Rangers. It's just one Ranger when in reality, it's all the teamwork that makes the Rangers what they are.
Yeah. And like, because I haven't read anything else with Draken since the end of Shattered Grid, I love that as like the final note of his character. And I know they do more with him later, but I'm like, yo, even though this is like a Pandora's box situation where once you let this character out of the bag, you're kind of always going to have to do stuff with him every once in a while because people are going to want to see it and it'll make money. If you could have ended it forever, Shattered Grid should have been the last time we saw Draken because it's such a great character arc and complete story from the beginning of Mighty Morphin up until the end of Shattered Grid.
It really is. And like again, he starts off as this really good meta commentary on the kind of like the state of Power Rangers and Tommy, like even in like the backup, like the issue 25 where it's like he meets the Zeo Rangers or something.
Mhm.
Like that was a great story that like further enhanced that.
I love how he's embarrassed by every other version of Tommy.
Yeah, that's like especially because he's like according to the universe. I could be getting my lore details wrong. He's the only evil Tommy. Like according to
He's
him,
the only Tommy that stays evil of his own accord, is what I
Yeah.
get.
Like the rest of the Tommies, they found their way, but this is the only one that like lost their way permanently.
Hmm. And it's very much like a I'm trying to think of the character. It's kind of like an old school Eddie Brock type thing, where it's very much the inverse of what we understand as our main protagonist thing. Whereas Tommy is always trying to learn from others as much as he can in most Power Rangers media, but Lord Draken is very much fuck you guys, you're the weirdos. I'm the only good Tommy, and I'm going to prove it by destroying the multiverse and making myself the only Tommy.
Yeah, and again, it kind of ties. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of the fans got the wrong message from this book, especially with how like Draken overexposure has gone.
Yeah.
Like where it's like instead of hey, maybe we shouldn't just put this one guy on a pedestal, like because it's about Power Rangers as a team show. People just went, we want more. He's cool, even though he's practically a Nazi.
It's very much that very typical comic book reaction thing where if one thing gets even slightly more popular than they expected it to, it's oh, we got to put this shit on lunchboxes. We have to make as much money from this as we possibly can while it's still hot.
Yeah. Again, I haven't read. I know he does show up in Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. Actually, while we're talking about Draken, may as well talk about because he comes back. I know he's not going to be the Green Ranger. I've already had the Green Ranger's identity spoiled. The new Green Ranger's identity spoiled.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that character as you've read him?
Draken or
Matt?
Oh, Matt. Wait, we're spoiling it, I guess. Yeah, Matt. Oh, well, that's more of a go-go. I'm trying to finish up with MMPR first.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought Shattered Grid was a great finale to Kyle Higgins' run. As a crossover event, I felt like it could have done more. Like
I like the early issues. Like the early issues really feel like Crisis on Infinite Earths, but with Power Rangers to me. But I feel like they focus on the MMPR team so much. I would have really liked it if, like, for one reason or another, like, say 3 out of the 5 get like killed temporarily or trapped somewhere. And so there's like an amalgamation team of a couple MMPR Rangers and then like a few other Rangers from around the multiverse. The most we get is that issue with Jason and Warren, which was cool.
Yeah, although I really think like maybe this is just my personal dislike for Samurai coming in. I don't think Lauren was the best choice.
It's a weird choice, especially when they like flirt at one point. But I feel like that was Kyle Higgins going like, oh, people really like this character and she barely got any screen time. Let me do something with her to make people happy.
Yeah, it's probably just the big Samurai hate motor I have talking. Anyway, because like I'm honest, I think I hate Samurai more than Megaforce, but that's a discussion for another day.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I've tweeted about it a couple times. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, I really like the story of the 1969 Rangers. Like that was a bit dark, but it felt like a good, like interesting one-off tale that sets up backstory.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like there's another issue that in Go-Go, which I felt like was okay. This is a bit try hard dark. We'll get to it. Like it was still a good issue, but I felt like it went a bit too try hardy. But we'll get to that. But like that one, I felt like was a good balance of there's still like hope and like despair, but it's like it's a good balance without feeling like not Power Rangers, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then Beyond the Grid. I know you hate Beyond the Grid.
I don't hate Beyond the Grid. I just can't vibe with it on any level. And I really wanted to. I loved the concept of the amalgamation team. I was so excited to see them giving Heckle powers. And then I read like 3 or 4 issues, and it just felt like the dullest shit ever printed to me.
Okay, yeah, fair. Honestly, okay, so I'm pretty sure it got cut short because the sales for MMPR were dipping when this,
Yeah.
like, it was dipping bad. So they're like, oh god, we have damage control, wrap it up fast. I'm pretty sure they had it planned for like another year, but like, they had to go fast, which probably also affected the story's pacing.
It's good news for Ryan Parrott, though.
Yeah, it's like good news. Hey, Ryan Parrott, you can start your necessary evil thing early. Yeah.
You still talking about nerd shit?
Yeah, we are.
We're talking about Beyond the Grid.
So, we're about halfway through.
Yeah. So actually, my favorite part of Beyond the Grid was the Solar Rangers, Aerie and Remy. They were great.
I got to like the first issue with them, and that's when I gave up.
Oof. Well, they're great.
It wasn't because of them. It was just, the tone.
The tone. Yeah, everything else, like, they're like the light in this kind of mixed story, especially like Andros I don't even remember a single thing Andros does in that story, and he's like on like the cover.
Yeah, that's it's him, and isn't Cam in that too?
Yes, and Cam.
Yeah, they were fucking wasted.
Especially Cam, because apparently he was just like, from what I remember, he was just relegated to dumb comic relief, and that not even a Cam trait. Cam's more of the straight man with like a bit of a jokes.
Mm-hmm. Cam almost hurts me more than Andros, because in terms of the actors, like Christopher Kamen Lee seems like a chill dude who will probably hang out and talk with you about shit, but he doesn't seem like he super cares about Power Rangers. Jason Chan fucking loves that he was a Power Ranger. So to see his character be wasted in the Power Rangers comics really annoys me.
Yeah, and also Ninja Storm's like top 5 season for me, so that even annoys me more. And then the Mike and Tanya thing was weird. That was, I don't know. Ranger Slayer and Heckle had a really good like friendly dynamic about like kind of bounty hunters in arms kind of dynamic, if I would best describe it any other way. And then like Aerie and Remy, of course, they were pretty good. I really wish there were a better story, because they have like a moment, you probably know about it. They have a moment that's kind of big for Power Rangers representation. So
yeah, I saw people posting about it when it happened, and I literally had the same, because I didn't watch Legend of Korra in real time, or at least not the last few seasons. So I had the same reaction to seeing that on Twitter as I did to the end of Legend of Korra on Twitter. I was just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Again, it pains me, because this is like Power Rangers really hasn't done something like this. So yeah. Mm-hmm. And so Beyond the Grid, it's mixed. I'd give it like a 5-6 out of 10 overall. I don't do ratings, but if I'd have to best describe it in a rating, I would give it one hamburger today, for which I would gladly pay it on Tuesday.
Motherfucking wimpy references up in this bitch.
I feel like an old man. Anyway.
What the fuck are you talking about?
We're like 40 years older than I am.
Not even 40. Dude, that's from like the Depression. That's
dang. I would have known.
It's a Popeye character.
Oh god. Now I feel like a zoomer.
Congratulations, we de-aged you. Or properly aged you.
You aged me, and then you de-aged me. Anyway, so then we get to the Necessary Evil story, and then that is actually surprisingly good. It's a bit much, because you got, like, the introduction of Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, and I love Rocky in these comics. He is so fun. Like, honestly, it's probably, like, they made a character that I always want to like into a character I really love.
He's fun, but I have to ask, does he want to have fun?
I guess. Yeah.
Is he just a fun guy? Is he just here to have a good old time? Just dance?
Does he look at monsters and go, man, does that guy look like he knows how to have fun?
Probably. Anyway.
Does he get jobbed out? Like No Way Jose? That's the joke we're making. We're making a wrestling.
No, I was referencing an MMPR episode, dude.
I was referencing fucking like No Way Jose and them fuckers.
Yeah, I feel like the Zoomer again.
Oh my god.
So that happens, and like Necessary Evil, and then like we also get introduced to the Omega Rangers, which I surprisingly vibe with. Like I'm a bit like hesitant on like Power Rangers original things.
I'm not a huge fan of those suits, but I do think it's a really cool concept and update on the Peace Conference.
Yeah, it is like, and I do love what they do with the Blue Omega Ranger, Kira. Like she doesn't start off bad, but then she kind of gets overwhelmed by her like guilt and like learning that Draken is kind of bad and kind of goes a bit overboard and like kind of insane. I thought that was a really interesting idea that Power Rangers really hasn't done before. And like even though like we don't have an Omega Blue Ranger now, at least I don't know, maybe they added one back into Power Rangers. As
far as I know, it's still the free.
Okay. It always feels weird when like teams of Power Rangers doesn't have a blue. But anyway, it's still like a really darn good story. Although again, it's kind of bloated because you got these like other characters like Dane, who I think is one of the better reference things Power Rangers has done. Where
I remember everybody being so hype when he debuted, and then I just heard nothing about him after that.
You really it's one of the better reference things. Like his debut is great. He kind of doesn't do much, but he still does like some cool stuff, I will say. And he kind of just like pieces out because he's like, I don't want this is getting nuts. I just give me my payment. Bye.
Yeah. And since you're on him, how do you feel about Comic Z? Because I told Buster while you were gone, Boingo, that I've jumped into current. I'm really digging Comic Z.
Like Zed is Zed. Honestly, like I can't really tell maybe because I like Zed more than others because I know some people call him one quote that stuck with me that Zed is a Phineas and Ferb character, and I'm like, I can kind of see it, but he's also kind of not.
I would really like to speak to that person and understand their logic.
Yeah, I guess because he does a lot of like, although that does give you
that's just camp villainy.
That's what that is. Like, what do you expect? I love how people are always like, oh, Lord Zed was so intimidating and badass when he debuted, and then they totally neutered him and just made him into a Saturday morning cartoon villain. He is a fucking Saturday morning cartoon villain, you idiots!
Also, I will say, that thing that comment gives me the wonderful image of Lord Zed being in charge of Love Muffin. It's a Phineas and Ferb thing. Because Boingo looks so like... Yeah, I know you did, Vac, but like Boingo just looks okay.
It's
funny.
funny.
Maybe 5 episodes of Phineas and Ferbs and like 3 of Milo Murphy.
It's also funny that we're finally talking about comics on this show, and Boingo is just like 90% tuned out.
I don't read them.
Is there anything else you have to say about Mighty Morphin?
And this is overall, like I did like when Draken came back. That kind of the final 5 issues are more just set up for the new books, but even so, that was a pretty solid run. Kind of started off a bit limp, got its footing with Shattered Grid, then kind of mixed down, and then ended really strong.
Nice.
I'd say. I think we should give Boingo some space to talk if he wants to talk anything. Okay, good.
It's just more of like it's hanging out. It's with the crew, the squad.
We're having a lovely time with the boys.
Yeah,
I've been working on stuff for Vac, which he's slowly been announcing on his Twitter. I've been working on other things, which it hasn't really been talked about, but it's slowly building. It's music based, so there's that. And I've been working on a thing that these guys have seen that I've shown off a little bit amongst this core little group of creative collaborators. I've hinted at it, so it's like trying to ask an actor what they're doing in the next Marvel movie. They can't fucking say.
Oh, what? I'm totally not Kang and Loki. I'm a Mortis, but you didn't ask about a Mortis, so I'm just gonna say I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey. Anyway. I will say the great thing about that reveal is that it gave my friend who's actually like online personas called Kang. I think that's their actual name, but like more reaction images to use.
Sick.
So
you're gonna get a lot fucking more. He's gonna be the next Thanos.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, will they do Galactus first or like
no?
King?
I feel like Galactus is just gonna be in a Fantastic Four sequel, not the first one, but in a sequel.
Yeah,
I can see that. Galactus works best as a thing over there. You do a story about him, and then you just go like, he's over there. Don't worry about him. He's over there.
We'll go talk to him occasionally if we need something, but for the most part, he's just over there. He's like, slightly off screen.
Because like the there's only like 2 stories that I'd say are like Galactus stories. And the second one isn't even that much of a Galactus story. It's a Reed Richards story.
Mm.
And the first one is The Coming of Galactus.
Naturally.
And the second one is The Trial of Reed Richards.
Yeah. Would you ever want to see the Galen story from the Wade and Waringo run in the MCU?
That story usually that story works so well because we've had 50 some odd years with Galactus being a thing.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. But do you wanna jump into Go-Go now, Buster?
Yeah, sure. I might have to leave halfway, but I will make sure to announce if I have to leave.
Okay.
Yeah, just don't give us an Irish goodbye.
Okay.
It's awkward trying to explain it to the people who can't see.
Yeah. Anyway, so Go-Go Power Rangers. This is actually the first Power Rangers comic I picked up because I was like, Power Rangers comics, they're becoming a thing. And Go-Go, I saw Go-Go was getting into issue 1, and I actually picked that up, and then I caught up with it. I think this might be the best incarnation of Mighty Morphin, and in my top 10 Power Rangers story.
That book is fucking Goat Raw Swag Kino.
It very much is. I really love this book. It does something I kind of wanted because back on MMPR, it's kind of MMPR like the Boom Studios comic feels a lot of like grand strokes, all these big epic events, kind of back to back, and then Go-Go just kind of like character.
MMPR is like what the casual fans want. Go-Go is what the hardcores who are still okay with a story about the MMPR cast want.
Yeah. And to be fair, I'm not okay with a story about the MMPR cast, but this story is just so well written, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like the character dynamics are just so well done. I would someone said it best. They would I think they can easily turn like the first the first arc of it, might just take out the Shattered Grid and like turn it into like a film of sorts.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, the most impressive thing about it for me is I have always been like staunchly uninterested in shipping in Power Rangers. Like, I'm okay when the show here and there wants to explicitly be like, these two are a couple. Like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever, do whatever you want, show. But I'm not like, oh, those two characters are totally looking at each other. I never get like that with Power Rangers. But this comic made me ship Jason and Trini so hardcore. I was fucking pissed when they ended up not getting together. I was like, come on, you can't tease it like that and then not do it.
Okay, we might have to take a pause.
Okay.
You did warn us.
No, it's a completely different pause. Look what I just posted.
Breaking news?
Yeah.
Oh shit, fuck boys! Tengo Kaiser trailer dropped.
Yeah, it's like 15 seconds, but still, let's go.
I'm watching. Oh shit.
Everyone got drip.
I'm really interested in why Marvelous and Guy are fighting in that one shot.
Yeah. Also, we have a power up for Gokai Red. I'm pretty sure
the Galleon key.
Yeah, it's like he's like.
Yo, if they actually adapted Gokaiger into a proper season of Power Rangers, that'd be the Battleizer armor.
It would. Oh my god, that's the fucking best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I see Gokai Red cosplayers at just about every convention I've been to. Motherfuckers, step up your game, make this armor.
Yeah, and also we got like some time skip designs for the guys. And it's like everyone got like, man.
Oh my god, Luca is like your fucking estranged lesbian aunt.
Really? It really is.
And
I see Captain Harlock there.
Yeah, Marvelous with the eye patch.
Yeah, and it's like I think they're gonna show how he got the eye patch, like in the movie, because there's like a shot with him like bloody died.
Yeah, Joe got that drip though.
Yeah, like little. He has a gun. Is that like a
That's a Zanyak pistol.
That's what I was about to say. Are they like gonna do like a callback to his like rivalry with his robot boyfriend?
Oh, definitely, because that was a major subplot of the series.
Yeah,
and the 10 years after specials have been all about doing callbacks to major things from the shows.
Yeah. Although I do wonder, is Bosco back in some way? Because why are they fighting past Suits again?
It'd be. I, I mean, they clearly can come up with any excuse to bring him back. They did it for the Zenkaiger movie, so.
Yeah. Oh my god, and what if this is just all a scheme by a world from Zenkaiger?
And that's how Two Kaiser shows up. He's just coming in to get the gear, and they're like, where the hell did you get those powers?
And then you just get like, that's the ending stinger. They're just a chase.
Yeah. It just fades out on them chasing him as he runs off screen.
Yeah, or like the pirate ship chase.
Oh my god.
I would actually like, if they still want to do like a full-length Zenkaiger movie around near the series end, that would be a great way to set up for that.
Yeah, and I hope everybody who listens to both this and Twit enjoyed hearing our first thoughts on that after hearing our more refined thoughts on Twit.
Yeah.
Here's a pitch. You can just slice this part out of this episode and put it in that one.
Yeah, but that'd be work.
Yeah, it'd also be lazy.
Oh my god. But no, Go-Go is so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, Go-Go's really good. Like the first 20 issues, peak Power Rangers content, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't think it was possible to make Bulk and Skull better characters at this point, but...
Oh, I want to mention, like, they give, like, in Necessary Evil, they give Skull this really adorable girlfriend, and it's, like, they have the most wholesome relationship, and it's great. I love it.
Okay, no spoilers, but there's shit going down with that in the current stuff.
Oh, no.
Not like bad shit between them, but there's just shit with that character. That's really interesting.
Oh, okay. That makes me slightly less, like, sad.
I also just really love the backstory with him and Billy, which
oh yeah,
that and how that ties into the whole thematic thing Ryan Parrott is doing with Matt of like there are friends you just grow apart from in high school as you become an adult. People change, interests change, and because of that, you just fall away from people, and it's really nobody's fault, but it sucks. Oh, I love that about Matt's character.
Yeah, oh yeah, like talking about Matt, he's surprisingly a really good addition. Like I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, Richie 2 or something. But like no,
they very easily could have made him Richie.
Yeah. Just like Richie, but edgier. What else? And then like I really like what they do with kind of him going a bit nuts and like kind of trying to fight off like the Rangers themselves and stuff.
Yeah.
Or fight off the villains, not the Rangers. And then like
you gotta beat them off.
Huh?
You want to be on this podcast?
As long as you got that back, I'm fine with not corrupting the other one.
I know what you mean, but like I'm just like, why? Anyway, yeah. So Go-Go's great. I like it, especially like the little like prom story arc. That was great.
That was adorable.
And like, also kind of dramatic with like the whole Matt's like Matt is an imposter. Get your Among Us jokes out now.
And even though it doesn't add a whole lot to the main event, I love the Shattered Grid tie-in. Like that issue where Sally goes to the juice bar. Oh my god, that like hit me in a place, man.
Yeah, that's why I say like I still recommend reading the Shattered Grid issues of Go-Go. It's because that story arc can work standalone. It made me like the Ranger Slayer.
Ranger Slayer at first seemed like such a like dumb try-hard just trying to capitalize on the success of Drac and Fang. And then I read those issues and I was like, this is now one of my favorite characters in all of Power Rangers.
Yeah, and it again sucks that she got Beyond the Grid, and apparently she got like a mini arc in like another comic, and apparently that stunk.
Yeah, I haven't read that stuff. That stuff doesn't exist and hasn't happened yet to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read that soon for like a video because I'm planning to do like a video on like basically the mass like runs of books, but then also just kind of like have like mini arcs and comics on their own videos.
Yeah. You like I said, you can just classify it as this is my review of Boom Power Rangers Phase 1. Because that's how IDW does their Transformers stuff. There's technically 3 phases now. The The first phase is everything up until the stuff that got them mainstream attention. And then the second phase is all of that and the ending of that universe. And now we're in phase 3, which is a new universe that utilizes the War for Cybertron character designs.
Oh yeah, is the Beast Wars comic good? Because that looks really. I like the art on it.
I haven't touched it. I don't know shit or fuck.
I've seen a panel or two, and it seemed like they got Megatron's character right. So
yeah, because I really want to read the Beast Wars comic.
It is really good art style. I'll give it.
Honestly, though, how hard is it to get Beast Wars Megatron's character right? You just go like, yeah.
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure if Michael Bay was still doing the Transformers movies, he would find a way.
God, I love seeing Beast Wars fans now getting nervous about a live-action movie on the level of G1 fans for the last few years. And at the same time, G1 fans are, like, flipping out about the fact that Mirage is a Porsche. No, this is car mode. I can't believe they changed that. Fuck off.
I'm trying to remember what that F1 car would have been.
It's like, oh my god, the G1 alt modes are so fucking stupid because so many of them are just like hyper-specific rally cars and shit.
Yeah, dude, fucking, like, I see that version of the Lancia, that fucking no mouth, ear lights up.
Mm-hmm. Wheeljack. That Wheeljack is, and it on like racing things, and I go like, oh, cool, they did a Wheeljack. Oh wait, no, wait, that's a real race car. They're trying to recreate the real race car.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
By the way, I just looked up Mirage's alt mode. It is a 1/64 scale Lola T94 Indy car.
Okay, Indy, so it's not F1.
Yeah, it's a big old long boy. Here, I'll send a picture to G1 alt mode real quick.
Because Indy is like the American version of that.
Yeah,
because America always has to have their own version of that.
Oh, there's a picture of the actual McCoy.
Because I was thinking, I don't remember if Porsche ever had an F1 car, and it might have been a Porsche F1 car. Yeah, no.
I'm just like waiting. Okay, so can I talk about Go-Go again?
You now know what Boingo has felt like for the last few minutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then just real quick, this is what he's gonna look like in Rise of the Beasts.
I mean, looks fine. It looks like a good Porsche.
Yeah, but everybody's flipping out because, oh my god, that's Jazz's G1 alt mode. Why would you give that to Mirage years after Jazz died in the first movie? And I'm like, shut up. When have alt modes ever been accurate in these movies? Aside from the last Bumblebee.
One. Yeah.
Bumblebee doesn't count. Bumblebee was a fucking fluke. It was a miraculous fluke, but it was a fluke.
We'll see, depending on how Rise of the Beast... Is it called Rise of the Beast goes?
I think, yeah, it's Rise of the Beasts.
Okay, yeah. See, I have good.
Yeah, wait for the Nyla Rose cameo.
That is a wrestling reference, Buster.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for okay, what's that reference to? That better not be a dirty euphemism.
There is a transgender woman wrestler named Nyla Rose, and she calls herself the Native Beast because she has Native American heritage.
That's pretty cool.
And she was their second ever women's world champ.
Swag. I like that a lot. Great representation in there.
He's also probably their biggest monster, and I don't mean monster as in they're a monster as in the character archetype of they're big, they're strong, they're intimidating.
You didn't have to elaborate.
I just want to make sure for anybody who's listening, my go over ahead.
Buster, what else did you want to say about Go-Go?
It is very okay. So the first 20 issues, they're so good, and I love the ending with them getting their official MMPR in the Boom Comics designs, and then that, especially their final foe for the issue 20 or Forever Rangers, where it's this the first alpha. That's a really cool world building thing. Although for some reason their arc kind of felt similar to another arc. I completely forgot what. But then after issue 20, I've been told that apparently Go-Go was supposed to end at issue 20/Forever Rangers, but apparently they had to keep going. So they kind of spun their wheels for the last few issues, kind of just doing an Omega Rangers origin. It's a really good origin, but it doesn't really feel like Go-Go. I do love the reimagining of the White Light story. That was great. Especially with him fighting Draken. I feel like that was a good use of Draken. I felt like that was a good use of Draken.
Okay, well then I'll definitely check that stuff out because I've not read that.
Yeah, I will say issue 28. It's a one-off with Rita and the dumpster. It's a good sci-fi story. I don't know if it was a good Power Ranger story.
How did
That
you
was-
feel about the green power coin origin that's in Go-Go?
it was trash. I'm sorry. That's because I don't like Rita and Go-Go, honestly.
Really?
I don't
I
like
know.
Rita and Go-Go.
That's a hot take, brother.
Yeah, I think they kind of went like they kind of missed the point of the character. I was like, to me, I feel like they kind of didn't lean into like the cheesy evilness, and they kind of just built like she's a tragic fallen soldier, and I'm like, we have like so many tragic fallen soldier characters in PR and in these comics. Like, do we need any more?
It's interesting how they expound on her backstory in the comics.
I know they didn't.
I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but it's definitely it's a different choice than what I would have done. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I just don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. I just I know a lot of people are loving it, especially in like the new apparently they're expanding it more on the limited comics. I will say the one thing I absolutely hate, I think they should have not done. Why is she Zordon's daughter?
I did not know that. I did not know she was Zordon's literal daughter. Holy shit.
Yeah,
That's over the line in my opinion.
Yeah.
That reads to me as a writer going like, yo, we need to add more lore to this already established thing. How do you do this? Let's connect some people, bro. Because they do that in Marvel Comics all the fucking time.
Yeah. Like, I knew Phantom Ranger, and I love that issue because it's basically what if the Mandalorian but Power Rangers? But yeah, I am not a fan on that element of the backstory whatsoever. The other stuff I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine, but not really what I'd want. That though, making her Zordon's biological daughter, that's a big old no from me, fam.
Yeah, and I guess they're trying to make the fight more dramatic, but the fight was already dramatic enough.
It's literally it's a fight between like the literal embodiments of good and evil in this universe.
Yeah. Again,
but isn't there tragedy in the fact that they're related, bro?
Go sit in the corner and write in your diary.
Edgelord.
I mean,
I'm not wrong.
No, I get it.
Are you telling me the person with Venom and Savage Dragon and 3 different aliens and Predator things is a fucking edgelord, bro?
Maybe.
I mean, you're the most colorful edgelord I know. So I'll give you that.
Forget Azrael, murder hobo Batman.
Also, devout priest.
I think he's just a follower. I don't think he's a priest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've literally read like 2 things with Azrael in them ever, and none of them feature him as a main character.
Oof.
But
yeah, Go-Go was pretty good. Overall, even despite my problems, they're not like deal breakers in my opinion. I still think it's a really good read. The best Power Rangers comic ever made so far. Who knows? Maybe one of the other ones will surpass it. We'll see. I'm very interested in reading the Omega Ranger comic.
that's yeah. It's a solid take. I look forward to seeing it in script form.
Yeah, when I already have like most of the because I'm kind of doing it in parts. Like the first part is just Mighty Morphin to Shattered Grid. So like I already have like that mostly scripted out. I have to like go and script the Shattered Grid stuff, which is gonna take a while because Shattered Grid's like a dense event. So
yeah, and I mean, like if you just do a video about Shattered Grid, even this far divorced from the release, I think that's gonna rope in a lot of views.
Yeah, especially because I'm gonna like I already planning to just plaster Draken's stupid mug all over the thumbnail.
What did the Kim Possible villain have anything to do with Power Rangers?
Oh my god. How are you the first person I've ever heard make that joke?
What? No, that cannot be true. That cannot be fucking true.
You're probably not the first person to make the joke, but you're the first person I've heard make the joke.
Fucking Christ. It's right there.
I mean, what can I say? We're Power Rangers fans. We're uncultured swine.
Yeah, I mean, like it kind of does feed into the joke I have in like my mind, where like all Power Rangers fans only know Power Rangers and like maybe a Kamen Rider. Like it's a like I could probably like write an essay about that, but not today.
Yeah, that's gonna be your big magnum opus 3-hour fucking college graduation thesis.
Yeah, Power Rangers fans do not know anything, and here's why.
And the entire video just changing
Like a-
costumes like ContraPoints or Philosophy Tube.
I was thinking like a fucking H Bomber guy video, like Power Rangers fans, a measured response.
Dang. Like I'll probably like do it like a Nikki Jakey kind of video where he's like sitting around and there's like pictures behind him.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like, can we talk about fucking H Bomber guy? Because he just puts out banger after fucking banger.
I've
Yeah,
only seen his,
I was
I've only seen
actually
half of his Ruby video, and that's just because I like Ruby.
I don't watch everything he makes, but when he posts something that looks interesting to me, I'll check it out. Like, I think the most recent thing of his I've watched is the video he did on the Transformers the movie, and that was just such a fascinating dissection of nostalgia. Like, I obviously don't agree with his perspective on the movie as a piece of media, but I like his perspective on how he feels about it.
Because he's coming at the Transformers the movie as a non-Transformers fan, which is a fascinating thing because the only people who talk about that movie are Transformers fans.
And he's sitting there going, look at this weird toy commercial that I loved when I was a kid, and I just rewatched it and I still love it. Fucking why?
Yeah. No, the latest one I saw was he did a whole video at one of those measured responses to anti-vaccination.
Yeah, that's actually in my watch later playlist.
It's fascinating because it basically turns to what's the goddamn YouTube series? Logo's a white rabbit into the down the rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole. It basically turns into a down the rabbit hole midway through, and you're just going like, what the fuck, bro?
Fucking sick.
Yeah.
It's like literally there is a clip of a dude in there going like, I can cure HIV with what? My blood.
I hate this world.
May not have been HIV, but he like, I can cure things with what? My blood. No, it was I can cure autism with what? My blood.
But
humans are amazing.
yikes. Man.
H Bomber guy's good. Also Philosophy Tube. She just put out a fucking banger of a video.
I need to get into those like channels, but like I kind of worried because I'm just like, I don't know. It kind of feels like there's like I've kind of been burned by pretentious critics before, and they seem like
Philosophy Tube is a little bit pretentious, but that's just because she's talking about fucking philosophy, and you kind of have to be a little snooty to talk about it. But she really
Her videos are also a lot more like stage plays than they are YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's also like a major way she frames her videos. Like, if she's talking about something that's kind of triggering to people, she will treat the opening of the thing like the beginning of a play, going like, please, ladies and gentlemen, exit on the left, blah, 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 trigger warning, that kind of thing.
It actually makes me more interested in that, like, in her content. I already, like, I already, like, saw her, like, Jim Sterling, like, kind of thumbnail, and I was like, maybe I'll check this out one day.
Yeah. Her coming out video is really good.
Oh, that was fascinating. That was one of the most, easily digestible explanations of what it's like to be a trans person I've ever seen as a cis person.
Yeah, I need to check that out just because I'm kind of like just gender nonconformity. So,
but also like there was a fascinating thread through the video that she wrote of basically, hey, it's cool that you appreciated me when I presented as male, but that's not who I am. You can still hold on to that presentation as a memory, as a character I portrayed, basically. Like, think of that as me playing the Joker. I'm using this metaphor. Think of that as me playing the Joker, and you can remember that performance as the Joker, but I'm going to be doing this now.
This is, I always think of the dumbest fucking comparisons, dude. But it's Doug Walker going, I'm no longer the nostalgia critic. Now I'm the dude from fucking... What's that fucking show? Now I'm the dude from Demo Reel. But it's a much better version of that.
Dang. Like, God, that actually brings me to like do I get to the Dougist rant? Because it kind of like, there's a reason why I don't make that many Doug jokes anymore.
Can you explain fucking Dougism first? Because
Okay.
I still don't get it.
Okay, so there's a guy called the Nostalgia Critic. He does bad videos, and we've and a lot of people ironically started to like it. And then some guy, I think he's like a YouTube pooper, of course, he kind of like started in Twitter. He started like posting a lot of Doug memes, and everyone else started doing it. And gimmick accounts started to form, and then this kind of thing we collectively called Dougism formed. And I think I accidentally got pulled into a cult. I know, like it's like half ironic, half unironic, and I don't know what to feel. It's really I can't even explain it myself because I'm not even part of it anymore.
Yeah, you had to leave when you joined Modular. That was in the contract.
No, I
One
left
group,
way
one
before
group.
Modular.
Oh,
We're making a
okay.
joke.
I know, but like I'm just setting the facts straight.
You're looking at the listeners going like, no, I'm far away from those fuckers.
Yeah, I mean they're not bad people. They're just like people. I'm like, yeah, you do your thing. I'm kind of over it.
Yeah,
People,
they're like Galactus. They're over there.
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's over there.
Really, the thing that kind of made me quit is that everyone was starting to be a bit unironic about it, and I'm like, I don't like that because especially like when the Oni plays, like Doug is like, oh, I'm okay with Oni plays, and I'm like, everyone was starting to say, oh, Doug's cool again, but I'm like, bro, did we just forget about that change the channel document?
No, I am not a fan of Doug Walker whatsoever. I don't think he makes good videos, and he seems like a pretty sus person.
I mean, I've met him multiple times, and he kind of is sus. So, I mean, he was nice to me, but like,
Honestly, there's only like 2 people from that era that I would actually want to meet in person anymore, and that's Linkara and James Rolfe.
I've actually met Linkara once.
Oh, you have? How is
Yeah,
he?
Oh, he's a very nice guy. I talked to him about like Beast Morphers a bit, like because I'm just like, oh, it's getting pretty good. That was before season 2 happened, mind you.
Yeah.
Like I kind of reassured him, like you should be fine. There's some serialization there, and kind of. Also, I also met like this really cool guy next to him. He's kind of like what's his name? He doesn't upload much, but when he does, it's pretty funny stuff. I forgot his name. Last Angry Geek. Yeah, he was. He also does.
Used to watch him back when I was big into that guy with the glasses, but I don't know. I don't remember his content extremely fondly. Not that it's bad; it's just it hasn't stuck with me.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
There's a couple Tig with Tig content people that I still follow, like Todd in the Shadows.
I
mean, yeah, but I don't consider him in like the same graduating class as I do like Doug and Lewis and James and fucking Noah. Took me a second to remember his name.
Well, it probably takes people a second to remember he even existed at this point in time.
That's a bird. But yeah, actually,
I always get at least one of those out of you a fucking podcast.
You're a witty fucker.
Hey, I don't fuck witties. I make love to them.
Anyway, actually, I kind of got to like I kind of feel shame because I got into that guy with the glasses during the like kind of like 2015 2016 period where it's like they were hiring new people. And I saw a couple people there, some jerk of a camera.
There was the anniversary film at that time?
No, there was no anniversary films. There was an anniversary film planned, but it got scrapped.
So they hadn't done like Kick-Assia yet, even?
This was after To Boldly Flee, but before the breakup.
Oh, okay. See, I got into it, I want to say like 6 months before, oh God, what was that one called? Suburban Nights.
Yeah.
And I
think I got into
Suburban Nights completely caught me off guard, and I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. Holy crap. Because I was like fucking 14 at the time.
To be fair, I thought Suburban Nights was the coolest thing ever until I grew up brain.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing, though, is people making fun of shit like that now.
Yeah, that video... What's the video by that one guy who like tears apart To Boldly Flee and he calls it like...
Quentin Reviews.
Yeah, I could not finish that video because it was such a good video that it was like tearing apart my psyche. I was like, no, I have fond memories. Dude, back when I was in my GED classes, I would go in late at night to study and watch the new part of To Boldly Flee on the school computers.
Big doofs.
Yeah.
The biggest doofs.
I remember thinking when it first came out that the fucking Zod duet was the hypest shit ever.
Damn.
That's how cringy I used to be.
We all have those moments. I mean, I never actually watched. I've watched bits of Suburban Nights, but I haven't watched like To Boldly Flee. I have watched all of Kick-Assia.
I mean, Kick-Assia is still fun in like a this is where we were at that time kind of way. But by the time you get to like the end of Suburban Nights, it's like, all right, you guys need to do better now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them for the budget because hey, if you want to make a low budget fan film, go for it. But like, I kind of the writing that I always critique writing. If my video on Power Rangers Unworthy is any indication.
True.
I mean, those movies only had one joke. Let's take these characters and put them in cosplay.
Yeah, that Suburban Nights cosplay scene was like blasted for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of like, and there was like this weird like Marvel DC interconnected stuff of like storylines and stuff. It was weird.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the fucking prologue to Suburban Nights with is he called Malachi, the wizard guy?
Yeah, Malachi or something.
I thought that like had me on the edge of my seat the first time I saw it. I remember being like, "What the fuck is this? What's going on? Oh my god, what is it? What is this series?"
Yeah. Again, like I think this like they're kind of good time capsules of how far we've come from like internet reviewer, where it's like we don't need this anymore. We can
We're not even really in the age of internet reviews anymore. We've kind of moved on to the age of media analysis, and I feel like we're starting to get towards the end of that even.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I see analysis and reviews as the same thing. It's just fancier names, but just like it's more of the format. Like I'd say, the formats are changing.
Here's the thing: I'm so used to like game and tech reviewers that there is a very distinct difference. Like a reviewer looks at a very specific product and its pros and cons, while a critique and an analysis looks at the greater overall scope of a thing and its impact on something.
Yeah, and I'm very much the same way. Whereas I don't know if I've mentioned it this much to you guys, but I know I used to say all the time, the reason I am still enamored with toy reviews and still want to be a toy reviewer is because when I got into YouTube and online media in general in the first big way was during the original toy reviewer boom on YouTube of 0708.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned this a lot of times. I think you even mentioned this in your channel update, or like channel.
Yeah, I don't know if I said that specifically, but I know I alluded to it at least in that.
Yeah,
and like for video games, there's a lot more review people. Like it depends on what you're looking for. Like some call me Johnny and the Completionist. Those people are reviewers. They review a game. While people like Matt McMuscle, Stop Skeletons from Fighting, Matthew Matosis, they're analytical. They're critiquing. They're looking at the culture, the greater scope of games. Scott the Woz is much more of a cultural critic of video games than he is a reviewer.
He's also very much a comedian and a storyteller.
Yeah. Probably like I'd say Scott is like, what if we took all the Channel Awesome stuff, but like kind of like made like put it in an irreverent 2010s lens, but like we kind of acknowledge, yeah, it's stupid, but let's have fun with it instead of just trying taking ourselves so seriously.
Yeah, and you can also find that that sort of dynamic in the toy reviewing landscape these days because you have guys like Few and not Few. I meant to say the Fwoosh. The Fwoosh and myself are very much like straight review channels with a little bit of comedy sprinkled in. Then you have Few. He is a reviewer, but he's as much a comedian as he is a reviewer. And then you have Jobby. And at this point, I don't even think Jobby is a reviewer. I think he's just a straight up storyteller who happens to tell his stories through the medium of, hey, here's this cool toy.
Yeah. It's interesting to look at the land, like, because let's admit it, this is a niche of a niche. This isn't mainstream popular internet video. It's nowhere near that. Mainstream popular internet video is shit we don't like. It's shit we don't care about.
Yeah. Unless you're Scott the Woz, in that case where you can like blow up to like millions of views or something.
Yeah, the closest
That's not mainstream video though. Mainstream popular internet video is like 20 million views, 30 million views.
The trending tab.
Yeah.
And the closest I get to the trending tab is fucking Smosh.
I mean, apparently Ellis Marks made it to the trending tab, like recently with his Space Jam video.
I mean, OSP gets on the trending tab every once in a while too, so.
Yeah.
But like, that's more of like a crossover hit in terms of music. But like, it's interesting to see what I would consider like the current crop of major internet people and like seeing their influences of that guy with the glasses. Like, either of you watch Nitro Rad?
Yes.
I watch him occasionally.
his April Fool's video is that guy with the glasses video.
Oh,
could
like
see that,
the
yeah.
iCarly one?
Like the iCarly one, like there was another one. But basically his yearly parody of the Eric Andre show is very much like that.
Yeah, but like better because Nitrorad and Brady, they're good at comedy, I'd say.
They're good at absurdism, which is what you
Yeah.
need for something like
And also,
that.
I like how like Nitrorad, when he does his April Fool's videos, he just makes like also separate videos because sometimes he'll review multiple games and he'll just like remove the skits from them. And that's a very nice like way to like kind of like, hey, if you don't like the skits, here's a like skitless version. Also, just
And I feel
more
like
ad
Linkara
revenue.
tries to do that as well, where like when he discovered time codes, he was very much like, okay, here's an easy way for the people who don't want to watch the storylines to skip the storylines.
Yeah, like
But even then, I'll let you go first, Buster. But I need to remember a thing, so hold on.
okay. Like even that, I just feel like it's still a tad inconvenient, especially when you're like binging like his kind of like in like a series of his videos. Although he has been like rectifying it with these kind of like compilation videos.
Yeah, the
Like,
omnibuses, those are cool.
yeah, I really like that. Especially like when like I do this. I did this with the build videos, but like I always like when you take a bunch of smaller videos and make them one big video. It makes it. I like that way more than here's one big video. This is the only way you can watch it.
And with him and the way he tends to space out reviews of a series, it's also like a really awesome way to see the evolution of him as a creator.
Yeah.
But here's a thought: with the population and the proliferation of VTubers,
Mm-hmm.
to an extent, they're bringing back the interconnected storyline idea through their lore as characters.
I mean, and we've had this conversation, modern internet-based version of pro wrestlers.
Yeah, like it's more about here's like a bunch of adventures
There's
and like arcs.
Calliope, I think I'm saying the Grim Reaper. There's Kim Rai, who is a dude who owns dead. It's the kind of like it's meant to be the kinky kind of slave.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But it's like little bits like that, and it's just it's interesting to think about. Like, I wouldn't say it's a direct evolutionary line between like that guy with the glasses and some angry nerd, some angry video game nerd to this kind of thing, but to see this kind of thing pop up time and time again between Marvel Comics, DC Comics, pro wrestling, internet critique, VTubing, it's fascinating to look at and just see how much humanity just wants to mythologize stuff, wants to make the world connected more than it is.
Great lore is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
they want to make mythology.
Yeah, I just like lore is like the word I always use. Just
I mean, lore is kind of a buzzword these days.
yeah, especially like with like franchises and like.
But like, I just went on a weird philosophical rant about that guy with the glasses. What the fuck's wrong with me?
I honestly could turn that into a video easily.
90% of the shit I say is dumb, and I go like, wait a second, I can turn that into a fucking thing.
Yeah, you really.
It's like the fucking history of the world meme. We can make a video out of this.
Yeah.
I can make a video out of this. No, wait, that's dumb.
Yeah. Trying to. There's like something. I'm thinking about something. Oh yeah. Also, I read another comic over the weekend.
Ooh.
Spider-Man Life Story. Someone on my Discord recommended it to me. I checked it out. I checked it out like all the issues.
I've read the first 3 issues.
Spoiler, are you okay with me spoiling it?
Tell you what, I'm going to walk out of the room for 5 minutes. You and Boingo talk about it because I want you
That's
guys.
one of my favorite Spider-Man stories.
Yeah,
Oh.
I desperately want to finish it. I just haven't found the time. So I don't want to be spoiled on this thing specifically, but I also want you guys to have the conversation you're meant to have about it. So I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Right.
so Spider-Man Life Story. That so good. That emotionally destroyed me. So like it starts like the '60s stuff. It's like this lighthearted, kind of like, but still like like grounded story about like Spider-Man and like Vietnam, or not in Vietnam, but like
In the
struggling
Vietnam
with-
era, because for people who don't know what Life Story is, it is basically 60s, 70s. It is a 6-issue miniseries with each issue being a different decade of Spider-Man's publication. Time, and everything ages in real time.
Yeah, basically the story ends with him like dying, like as an old man. Like so.
Because the whole pitch was Chip Zdarsky went like, I want to do a miniseries where Marvel ages in real time, and his editor just basically looked at him and went like, that is too much shit to deal with. Pick a character.
Yeah. I heard is he doing Fantastic Four life story or is that someone
No,
else?
he is not doing Fantastic Four.
Okay, because I know that's going on at the moment. Because like someone I mentioned it and like someone says, hey, do you know there's a Fantastic Four life story that's going on right now? I was like, oh, sure, I'll check it out.
I think
when
it's just going to be the trend Marvel does. I think they're going to do one for like a couple different major characters and things.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing. Yeah. So yeah, the '60s issue. It's like it's like there's this great grounded things, and I love how like every decade connects. It still feels like a coherent story. Like specifically with the Captain America speech that ties back into the Civil War in 2000s. Like Captain America speech in the '60s that ties back into the 2000s thing.
Yeah.
And then like I feel like the story just continuously hits you with emotional gut punches, especially if you're connected to Spider-Man, starting in issue 2 of the '70s.
Oh,
That's where it's like you see like Flash died, and it's just like from there on out, I felt consistent depression with like all these emotional gut punches through on me. It was still a great read. It's still really well written, and it still captured what Spider-Man is to me. Although it kind of made me like in a weird reverse way, but kind of made me dislike the MCU a tad more. Not like I don't hate it or anything, but just it kind of like made me dislike the idea of like Spider-Man looking up to Iron Man. Although then again, different interpretations of characters, different ages, but still, you get what I mean.
And that's just a weird thing about interconnecting everything, because in the comics, Spider-Man was created like just right around the like only a few months after Iron Man. So there wasn't enough time for any character to be more important than Spider-Man. He was just as important as anyone else. But with the MCU, Spider-Man's always been an everyman character in the comics. He's the guy next door. He's the dude with money problems, with girl troubles. Just he's anybody, you know? And what is everybody who watches the MCU? They're a fan of Iron Man. So yeah, of course he's a fan of Iron Man.
Yeah, that when you recontextualize it that way, it makes a tad more sense, especially given like Homecoming's arc. But that will back to life story. But yeah,
I think one thing I really enjoy is like how Chip Zdarsky recontextualizes giant, major, impactful Spider-Man stories in his new framework, like Kraven's Last Hunt, the Venom symbiote, the Clone Saga. Like that's fascinating the way he handled the Clone Saga.
Yeah, like the way he does it, like basically picks and chooses all these like classic Spider-Man stories, like the symbiote Venom, like not symbiote Venom, like Kraven, and like like the Clone Saga thing. The Clone Saga thing was like weird, and I love how he kind of like truncated like the like again, it's a lot, but it's still really darn good. You feel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
and I think if Chip Zdarsky had more time to tell the story, it wouldn't be as good. You know what I mean? Like, because he was so limited in the scope of what he had to do, that adding any more detail would just make everything a little bit more fuzzy. It wouldn't add more detail, it'd make things more confusing. Because he leaves so much out, you just infer things. You just connect things in your head, and the connections in your head will always make more sense than anything he can put on the page.
Yeah. Like it's a lot, like it's very much like moments in time. It feels like just like here's an important moment in this decade,
and it's also like very interesting to see like it being a snapshot of how comics were written in that decade.
Yeah, and even art style, like the art style reflects the like like 90s era, 60s era. Even the suits as they evolve and like the design philosophy and stuff.
Like the what's his name? It's not Morbius. Morpheus.
Vlad?
No. It's what's his goddamn name?
A vampire.
It's not a vampire. He's a vampire, but he's not a vampire. He's the multi-dimensional fucking energy vampire from Spider-Verse. Hold on. But no, like Spider-Man life story is fantastic. I have been reading the Fantastic Four one, and it's okay so far. I have a feeling once Morlun, that's the character I was thinking of, Morlun.
Morlun, okay.
In how Morlun like attacks his kids and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
just how like that kind
Actually, that comes. The only thing I think the book misstep on, I really wish Morlun didn't kill the kid, one of the kids.
Morlun didn't kill him.
Oh, okay. I must have.
Go back to the last issue, and you'll see him walking around with a cane.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought like sorry. I was kind of I speed read comics a lot, so it's like little details like that I may not notice.
And he lives. He just lost his spider powers. He can't be a spider person.
Oh, okay. Well, that's he's still alive. That's nice. Good for him.
Yeah. And like
Yeah. I'd say this is like more of a Spider-Man fan story. Like when I went into this, I thought, okay, this could be like a crash course on Spider-Man. I was like, no, this is very much like a what if scenario with Spider-Man for Spider-Man fans.
yeah, it is very much like that. Like you can get some of the core ideas of Spider-Man, but like some of the greater scope and details are massively changed because you kind of have to.
Yeah, especially for like only 6 issues.
Because like, and I also find it really cool of how he rearranged some like Spider-Man elements of like Spider-Man was not a multimillionaire in the 80s.
But
Shock
yeah, now
upon
he is.
shocks. Because he was in Dan Slott's run, but that doesn't feel right for him. So let's just rearrange it a little bit. All right, cool. That feels right. But it is just an element just put in a different place.
Yeah, and I like that. Like, well, they also did that with the Craven thing, right?
Yeah, Craven's Last Hunt is probably one of the most important Spider-Man stories, mainly because Craven kills himself at the end of it.
Oof. I need to read that one. Like, maybe. Like, because I know it's like one of the people consider it like a definitive Spider-Man story.
It's also one of the definitive, like, just American superhero comic book stories.
Is it like is that where it's like the Bronze Age started?
No, like, talking about comic book ages is a weird, fuzzy thing. Because if you want to be technical, the golden age of comics was the 20s with comic strips and stuff like that, but that doesn't feel right. Like, the only one that, like, everybody can kind of genuinely agree on is the day Gwen Stacy died is the day comics changed.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
okay. But like,
Gwen Stacy
like
dies, comics are different now. They are different.
Yeah. Did she die in issue 100 or like the late 90s?
No. She died early on. Hold on.
Like 30 was around like the 30s or no?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna Google this.
We're talking general comics now.
What? Oh yeah, we're talking
about. He was asking. We're just talking about general comics now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're just like because we kind of went on like we just talk about general Spider-Man stories and it's like wait, which issue Gwen Stacy died?
121.
121. Okay, so I was close.
Yeah, but it is in the 70s, early 70s, but that's definitively when comics change. Yeah. And then I'd say there's a couple points where we enter distinct eras of comics, but are not like golden, bronze, or anything like that. Like, I'd say comics changed again with Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen release 1-2.
Yeah.
Hasn't everybody said that like the modern age of comics has been going since like the mid 90s?
Here's the thing, I'd argue that because we had another age with the publication of Image. Image coming up started a brand new age of comics.
Like where there's more indie publishers that aren't the big two, and they can still make some successes either through licensed books or just independent creations.
The current age of comics started either with House of M or Civil War, depending on which one you want to talk about.
No, those are really those are really like big Marvel stories.
At least talking in Marvel terms, like I'm not sure what you could. I think realistically, DC. If you're talking DC, it is. Again, the night Gwen Stacy died. That's a big turning point in American comics. Period. DC
I think
Marvel
argument could be made that a new age started with the New 52 because that was the beginning of DC going. All right, we have to make things more in line with the kind of stuff no one was doing. You know, more grounded, more gritty, more edgy. We have to get with the kids and be hip, yo.
We have to copy Marvel again.
Yeah.
And then Marvel kind of because kind of like that started kind of the trend of like relaunches every like few years.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
though Marvel really hasn't had a proper relaunch.
Yeah, Marvel's never had a proper reboot.
We'll talk about more like issue numberings. I'm talking.
Yeah, but that's just more of like, hey, here's a brand new run for you to get
since the
into.
90s, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
And even then, Marvel also has the most brilliant fucking thing in the world, the LGY legacy numbering.
oh yeah.
Yeah, when they introduced that, I was like, God damn it, DC, the one time I want you to actually copy that.
At least they made it to Action Comics 1000.
Mm-mm.
And that's only because in the 80s they had a...
They made it.
Oh, because in the 80s they like published Action Comics weekly.
Ooh, not know that.
So like there was just like a year or two where they just published 52 issues in a row. So
That must have been hell for the people making the art.
Probably had rotating creative teams.
yeah, they had to. They were doing smaller stories because it was an anthology book. Like Green Lantern was in it.
Yeah, it was like more like the kind of original idea of Action Comics, not just
like a journey into the mystery.
Yeah. But no, with DC Comics, I specifically would say the publication of Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns, because those are both DC books. And then I'd say the next age of DC starts at the beginning of Vertigo.
Yeah.
When the fuck did Vertigo start? I know
late 80s. It was
Okay.
late 80s, but that definitively started a much more artistic edge to DC that continued till like Kingdom Come and a lot of the Elseworlds books, but like Vertigo started it. And I'd say probably it ended it too with the last issue of Sandman. That started a brand new age of DC Comics.
Anyway, actually, can we guys wrap it up because I gotta go soon.
Sure. I did have one more thing I wanted to talk to you fellas about, and it shouldn't take too long. I was kind of hoping Snowcomb would be here for this because this is kind of a group decision, but I wanted to broach the idea for both us and the listeners. How would we feel about potentially having one-off guests on this show in the future?
Oh,
sure. I mean, I was already kind of like thinking of like pitching one-off guests on Twit for like, I was kind of thinking about the Ultraman Trigger premiere, and I was like, oh, we can get like a one-off guest like we did for Zenkaiger, but I'm like, dang, we don't have time.
I would also like the idea would be kind of how Trash Taste does guests. So just like a person from a different area of YouTube, maybe they're bigger, maybe they're smaller than us, maybe they're from a different medium even than YouTube, and just have them on for an episode and be like, so what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm. I
think honestly that's how we should start treating components. Is just like our own ripoff of Trash Taste.
It kind of just is taste. That, yeah. We're the recyclable taste.
Yeah, like good takes.
No, we have Vac here. We can never have good takes.
Aww.
I haven't done a single ounce of simping tonight, and yet still you slag me off.
I mean, why stop now?
That's just our dynamic, bro.
It's fair.
I'm the witty, clever, handsome one, and you're the one I shit on.
Aww.
See, I'd have been totally okay with that had you not said you were the handsome one, implying that neither myself nor Buster are handsome.
I mean, like, have you seen my Twitter?
I have. You're a fine looking fellow.
Yeah, especially with like the what's it called, the tinfoil hat. Anyway,
I have the appearance of a Viking god. Look at me.
Sure, you do,
it's mostly the beard.
It's entirely the beard. All right. I think that's gonna do it this week for Modular Components, everybody. Buster, tell the good people who you are and where they can find your stuff on the internet.
Hey, I'm Buster Corp. I do videos, and we recently just hit 550 subs, and I basically just do video essays to comedic skits that are nonsense, that will confuse the hell out of everyone, and yeah, on the Buster Corp YouTube channel. Check it out.
Sick. Boingo?
Hey, howdy, I'm Chris Boingo Writer Gaston. Holy shit, it's just something. I make video essays and editorial content. On the YouTubes, you can find me at Boingo Writer, and I have several, and I mean several projects in the works.
Oh my god, there are irons in the fire.
Oh my god, I have multiple Iron Man suits. I'm Tony Stark.
Love Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. I'm Tony Stark, and I make Iron Man armor.
Me.
Fight me, Thanos. No, Tony Stark, I'm Thanos. I'm not gonna fight you.
What the fuck is going on right now?
It's called a gag, my friend. I'm a comedic genius.
That's just how my video skits go.
Oh my god.
But if you want to follow me and a variety of other things, you can follow me on Instagram. I post things, and something's been going on with my Twitter. I'm not sure what. I'm figuring it out. I haven't been hacked. I've double checked my password. Haven't been hacked. Haven't been hacked any whatsoever. All the things are coming from my computers and all that stuff. So follow there. You'll find out things as I'm finding out things. I guess it's weird, but we'll handle it together. Yeah, I think that's about it for right now for everything I can just kind of talk about.
All right. Well, I am the Vacuuminator, and I am a toy reviewer here on YouTube. My latest review is a look at the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Kingdom, Voyager class Inferno, and Deluxe class Huffer. Two toys that I had a very different reaction to than I thought I was going to. If you want to check out that review, you can do it by going to youtube.com/thevacuuminator and checking it out. And hey, I relaunched my Patreon campaign this week, so not to shill or anything, but maybe take a look at that as well. And I'm also on Twitter @thevacuuminator and on Instagram posting action figure photography every day @the_vacuuminator. But before you go and check out any of that stuff, please do us a big favor and help us out here at Modular Media by following this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to it on. If you're listening on YouTube, please give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Ring the bell in order to enable notifications. Follow us on Twitter @themodularmedia for updates on all our projects as they're being developed, and join our subreddit r/modularmedia for the same reason. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of Modular Components. Thank you, everyone, for listening and hanging out with us for a little bit. Hope you've had a great week, and we hope you have a fantastic weekend. See ya.